This week's crypto recap. Joe Biden pours cold water on crypto optimism in the US, and why are celebrities like Caitlyn Jenner and Iggy Azalea launching their own cryptocurrencies all of a sudden? We cover all this right now on the Collective Shift weekly recap. Actionable insights and a breakdown into the crypto market, all in under 30 minutes. Any of our long-time listeners may realize that it is just me today, Matt. Nick is taking a well-deserved holiday, so I will be getting into all that you need to know from the past 7 days for this episode. So bring it to our market update, which we always start with. It was a relatively flat week, slightly down for the crypto market, noting that the final week in May was a very successful week, particularly for ETH, as we covered last week. But at the moment, time recording, we've got Bitcoin at around 68,000 US dollars. ETH is floating around 3,800, and they are down by 1% and 3% respectively over the past 7 days. In terms of any big macro events, look, there was some inflation data last week in the US that came out more or less in line with expectations. Over in Europe, there was a higher than expected inflation results. So really that just continues to be the most important things that the macro economists are watching for obvious reasons, as we've talked about ad nauseum over the past 6 to 12 months. In terms of looking ahead to significant, maybe price sensitive events, we have June the 12th. Over in the US, that is when the Federal Reserve will be announcing their latest policy decision. It's widely expected that they will hold rates steady. But as we've said many times, more importantly, what you should be looking to is the language that the chairman, Jerome Powell, shares in his press conference, and noting any sort of changes in outlook and whatnot will be the thing that investors are looking for. So that's something that is coming up next week. The most significant news in crypto land from the past week or so, we covered it last week that Ethereum ETFs, the shocking and surprisingly news that we got regarding the SEC approving 8 ETFs that are tracking the spot Ethereum price. They have been approved, and as we said last week, however, as we explained, the second of two components of what you need for an Ethereum ETF to go live, that second component still has not been ticked off yet. So what we've had in recent days has been these applicants getting ready and submitting their what are known as S1 filings. I'm just going to skip over all the ins and outs of that because the most important thing for you to understand is that these are still going through the motions as I get my screen up here. Still going through the motions of the likes of BlackRock and whatnot, submitting them. So as always, we sort of look to the Bloomberg ETF analyst for signal on when these may get approved, and Eric Balchunas here saying that he thinks early July is the most likely scenario where we see these ETFs actually start trading on the different exchanges in the US. So that is the latest update there with respect to the Ethereum ETFs. And as I said to Nick in last week's podcast, I do not expect any other ETFs, for any other cryptocurrency to be approved at least for a couple of years. That is under the assumption that things do not change regarding, regulatory stances in the US in particular, which looks like it is still going to be quite slow moving. Potentially you might get a catalyst if the the administration changes. In other words, if Donald Trump wins the election, you may see a big change in crypto regulation and the attitudes towards crypto. But that's unlikely in my opinion. Therefore, it's still going to be another couple of years at least until any other cryptocurrency gets an ETF. But moving on to speaking of sort of, US regulations, and we had Joe Biden last week. So I think Nick covered in the podcast that the big thing to watch was whether the presidential office or Joe Biden, that he actually goes ahead and vetoes this bill. So to rewind, we had a big rule change or proposed rule change that was really, to simplify it, was going to make it a lot more commercially viable for big banks to offer custody services for cryptocurrencies. That is seen as a huge unlock that could increase the size of the cryptocurrency market dramatically. We saw the House of Representatives pass it, we saw the Senate pass it, and the final step to, I suppose, ratify or make a bill pass, you need to get it signed off by the president. So Joe Biden, as Nick explained, was signaling that he wasn't going to do it. There was speculation about, the Democrats all of a sudden are maybe softening their stance towards crypto. So it was going to be a really important event to see if Joe Biden proceeded with, essentially rejecting the bill. And I suppose, unfortunately, he did go ahead with that. In other words, it was a signal that, hey, it's not just an entirely new green light for crypto in the US. Sure, there's been some softening of negativity towards crypto, but that does not inherently mean that all of a sudden the US is very pro-crypto. That's extremely important to understand. So what happens now with this bill, you might say it called the SAB 121 or SAB 121, also known as just the crypto custody bill. It's unknown. I think Biden's saying that he is happy to work with Congress, whatever that means. So we may see some amendments to the bill be debated and whatnot, but essentially that is where it's at for the time being. So again, just not as bullish, I suppose, to really simplify it. Not as bullish news as we would have anticipated. However, he had always signaled that he was going to veto this, and that's exactly what happened. So end of the day, the most likely scenario unfolded. We'll continue to follow, I suppose, US attitudes towards crypto. As explained in recent podcasts, the only reason we're talking about this now is because it's particularly relevant for cryptocurrency prices in the short term and even the long term, because we've now had, Donald Trump coming out and posturing towards the crypto market and industry, at least saying, verbalizing that he would support crypto if people voted for him. Whether or not that translates is another thing, in the assumption or scenario where he does actually get voted in to become president. So this is the only reason why all of this stuff with Joe Biden and the Democrats is relevant now, because historically they haven't really been that warm to cryptocurrency. But now there is increased pressure for them to at least start to, ease up on that negativity. So that's, again, a very crucial thing to understand. And it's why cryptocurrency prices are going to be quite correlated towards any shift in attitude, in my opinion. I definitely think that will be the case over the next 6 months. Of course, other factors that can change crypto prices, but this will be one of the strongest ones, I think, in the rest of 2024. Okay, moving on here, completely hard pivoting to celebrities launching their own cryptocurrencies. So this came out of left field, to be honest. We've had celebrities being involved with cryptocurrencies in recent years, particularly during bull markets when prices are getting, around all-time highs. And we saw it last week sort of come back a lot earlier in the bull market, at least historically speaking. So we had the likes of Caitlyn Jenner, Iggy Azalea launching their own cryptocurrencies. And essentially there was a lot of speculation around the prices, why all of these celebrities were launching them at the same time. To really, I suppose, share my thoughts on where I think, whether these are relevant or not. I definitely, personally am not going to be, touching them at all. I think they're just purely speculative, essentially like gambling. And there's definitely better options out there, much better options in the crypto market. However, it was definitely a headline grabbing news story, and it was even broke into non-crypto news sites. So that's why it was just worth pointing out here. Importantly, these were all on Solana. So again, it's sort of, just lending credence to that sort of argument that Solana, a big bull case for it, even in this bull market, is that it's the home of Memecoins. Sure, it has other applications such as decentralized physical infrastructure, like helium, and many other sort of use cases. But meme coins in particular is getting a lot of traction on Solana. Pump.fun has been the home of where all of these meme coins are launching, including the ones used by Caitlyn Jenner and Iggy Azalea. There was also Trippy Red and DeVito as well last week who used Pump.fun to launch their meme coins. And that has been one of the breakthrough apps in the space year to date. So it has done around $30 million worth of fees in Solana, the Solana token. More than $30 million worth of revenue since launching in January. So one of the more successful startups in the space, and people speculating whether Pump.fun will tokenize as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I don't really expect many more celebrities to be launching their own cryptocurrencies. For one, it's borderline illegal in the sense it would breach a lot of regulations. We've seen in the past Kim Kardashian charged with, various infringements related to promotion and involvement of, I think it was certain ICOs. And we've seen many other celebrities also be charged for that. And yeah, I don't really, obviously not a lawyer. However, it would seem, at least at face value, that this is a very similar sort of breach of these regulations. But that will all come out in the wash in months, maybe even years to come. But even apart from all of that, secondly, I just don't really think there'll be that much of who's like the marginal buyer of these tokens. Like, I don't really think it's going to all of a sudden bring in a massive wave of people speculating on these tokens. Because look, I think people are starting to clue into the fact that, from previous cycles of cryptocurrencies like ICOs and whatnot, there was a lot of people who got burnt by those. And maybe they are the same sort of audience who perhaps is a bit wiser now, knowing that cryptocurrencies are very volatile. A lot of them trend towards zero over time. And maybe those people are simply just over it at this stage. So I don't really expect us to be talking about celebrity cryptocurrencies anytime soon. Okay, in terms of altcoin updates, there's always so many going out every day, every week. The ones that, really just wanted to highlight in this week's episode is the big merge in all of the crypto AI projects. We saw that announced, I think it was late last year, that 3 of the largest projects in that fast growing sector, that is Fetch.ai, Singularity AI, as well as Ocean Protocol, they announced that they would be essentially merging their tokens and launching a new one, which, once it has launched, it will actually be, I think top 20, top 30 by market cap. So expect to start hearing a lot more about it. That is actually going live on June 13th. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And if you're holding any of those tokens of those projects, I'd be prioritizing keeping up to date with the projects, either Twitter or on Discord or maybe their newsletter for actionable steps on what you need to do to get access to this new token. And also be aware of scams because, yeah, it's a very opportune time for scammers around the time of token launches. Arweave. Now, this was one for sure that I think is sort of going under the radar in a sense. Arweave's been a very strong performer year to date, and it has its upcoming AI protocol known as AO. And they announced last week that I think it will be going live in a couple of weeks from now. And also that the Arweave token holders will be eligible for a portion of the AO token supply. So essentially the Arweave team coming out, announcing a new product, sort of a new protocol, and that protocol itself is going to have a new token. So yeah, expect to hear a lot more about the AO token and the AO protocol itself. We have been covering it for Collective Shift members in recent months. And once it was announced, I think last week, that confirmation that this new protocol will have a token, we did see AR, continue its strong performance, which it has been doing, in recent months. Coinbase Smart Wallet, that is going live on June the 5th. So that is something we are very keenly awaiting here at Collective Shift because, why are we so excited about it? It's, really, I guess, slated to push the boundaries in terms of user experience. So making it as simple as possible for people to get involved in crypto, on mobile in particular, which, as we know, that is where a lot of the users are coming from these days. So optimizing for mobile in a space that historically has been quite intimidating to get involved in. So Coinbase Smart Wallet, there's been a lot of hype about it in the last 6 months or so, hearing that it's been tested behind scenes, but that is expected to go live at the start of June. Also worth noting that On-Chain Summer is coming out very soon. So we spoke about how Coinbase, when Base launched, I think 12 months ago, it was sort of coincided with their first campaign called On-Chain Summer. They are bringing that back this year, and that will be going live in June as well. Just here, PayPal announcing that they're also now launching their stablecoin. The ticker for that is PYUSD. That is going live on the Solana network as well. So I think we had speculated that that could happen, and indeed that has been what's carried out. So yeah, always important to see PayPal's growth, and it's always encouraging to see them getting more involved in the crypto space, given their status and reputation, and the amount of users they have globally as well. So yeah, the PYUSD stablecoin launched on Ethereum mainnet, I think late last year, and it is now going to be expanding onto Solana. And finally here for the altcoin section, the Say Foundation, they have proposed an upgrade, their Say V2 upgrade, which has been coming for quite a while, but it's good to see them proposing, I suppose, the official proposal going to their governance forum there with Say V2. So why does it matter? It's really going to make it a lot easier for Ethereum developers and Ethereum users to use the Say blockchain. They're sort of bringing what's known as EVM compatibility to Say in this proposed upgrade. So currently that's a bit of a limitation, and I suppose a bit of a bear case for Say in their current V1. So yeah, that's one that we are looking for as well at the Collective Shift team. So that sort of brings us to a head and wraps things up for this episode. As I said, the Federal Reserve announcement next week is one that I'm sort of keeping a close eye on. And then On-Chain Summer is probably the thing I am most keen to see unfold, given how large Coinbase's budget is, and the Base team as well. Their budget is very vast these days, and I'm expecting some impressive things to come out with that On-Chain Summer initiative, as well as the launch of the Coinbase Smart Wallet. So that does bring us to a close for this week. If you are looking for more insights, see our revamped weekly Shift newsletter, providing free weekly market insights every Friday. Subscribe at collectiveshift.io/newsletter. That's collectiveshift.io/newsletter.